So I'd like to begin this video saying that after 9 years of Save the World being sat behind a paywall, it's finally free for all players to play. Most importantly, Nintendo Switch 2 players can finally get their hands on the action. Sorry, Switch 1 guys. For all the players that are starting out, I'd like to humbly welcome you into the experience, and that y'all are definitely in for a good ride. Unfortunately, building up to the release of this change, something under the hood of Epic Games was stirring. And somehow, not even the core designer of the game was safe from this. Around March 24th, 2026, Epic Games announced that they will proceed to lay off 1,000 of their own employees, explaining, quote, "This layoff, together with over $500 million of identified cost savings in contracting, marketing, and closing some open roles, puts us in a more stable place." I'm not sure what that means internally, but I'm looking at the bigger picture of 1,000 people waking up and losing their jobs. There's never been a success in mass laying off employees like this. If anything, it terrifies them into thinking that if something doesn't sell well, they'll be next on the chopping block. This wasn't any regular old 1,000 people either. No, core designers and developers were laid off as well. Even ones that were here since the very beginning of the game's life. I feel like this is very important because these developers have the, let's say, core design and vision of Fortnite. Similar to how Shigeru Miyamoto is the lead macho for Mario. Let's say Mario Sunshine didn't sell well on the GameCube. By Epic's logic in doing this, poor old Miyamoto's gonna have to look for another job. Epic's decision to cut out core designers and developers, deciding that a boat company throws the captain overboard in the middle of a storm that could capsize the ship. Players were also affected by this, as Epic also decided to completely shut down its ballistic mode, rocket racing, and festival battle stage. Rocket racing, as of this recording, is still available until supposedly October, but battle stage and ballistic can no longer be accessed. Which is a damn shame because these modes were awesome and didn't need to have a crazy high player counts Epic was expecting to have them. Meanwhile, a mode like Respawn Rumble exists, which is originally Team Rumble, but they reworked it so one can explore the map before having to fight. The storm is already on a small circle to condense the players? They're bots half the time, which is cool for getting a few kills and experimenting with different weapons and equipment, but loses its sentiment once actual players start rolling in the opposite team after a few matches and reminds you to play to get better. What's also annoying about Respawn Rumble is that building is disabled. I feel like if they wanted to make Team Rumble have no build, they could have very easily made that an option instead of changing the mode almost entirely. It would have been a way to give players variety and see which playstyle suited them. Because of this, has consistently been the lowest engaging mode in Epic's core lineup of modes, which I believe is complete bullshit. I can 110% see Team Rumble coming back, maybe with proximity voice chat considering whatever they were doing with that Delulu mode. Get that working and getting way more players than whatever Respawn Rumble would ever dream of. Anyway, this tangent's getting thick. Main point is, there's less ways to enjoy the game from Epic's official lineup of modes, and the pre-existing ones are getting watered down in some way, shape, or form. I'm not really sure why Epic would be concerned at a loss this big and felt required to make actions as to fire 1,000 fucking people or remove modes that, despite low engagement, still had a success of gaining a player base. And wasn't that really the goal at the end of the day? Now people who had the slight interest in Fortnite might think twice before downloading it and giving it a shot. Meanwhile, the players that have been around, like me, are shown to the item shop and horrified to what they see. Leading up to Chapter 7 Season 2's release, a promotional video was pushed out, going over how an intern is assigned to take all the players in Spawn Island into the battle bus so the match can properly begin. The video itself is relatively harmless and was just made to hype up the season. However, keen-eyed viewers would be able to identify two figures that were dancing off the side of the screen inside some sort of hut. Further inspection would reveal this to be Tung 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 Sahur and Ballerina Cappuccina, two Italian brain rot icons that were created by generative AI. Now, the skins themselves seem to be completely human-made, but it doesn't excuse the idea of AI-generated skins making their way in the game. Epic tried to disguise this by having the skins released on April Fool's Day, but they weren't fooling us. We knew they were looking at ChatGPT with $signs in their eyes. As the season would continue, more collabs would be fanned out. This is after the layoffs, mind you, so imagine while this is going on, you're welcome to Disney's Hercules, Daffy Duck and Lola Bunny, Ben fucking 10, Bloons Tower Defense 6, fucking Overwatch. Why are you here? Y'all, we're about one step closer to having Captain Price hit the gritty. Of course, Disney's gotta Disney and shill out some more Star Wars skins. Any Clone Wars fans watching this? Anyway, the point is, I would have a much better view at these collabs if it wasn't at the expense of 1,000 core developers of the game. It makes the collab feel hollow, like we're supposed to just buy all these skins up and magically give Epic this $500 million recovery. Seriously, imagine being told that you're losing your job due to cutback in costs and then see that a day or two after you're fired you see Tung Tung's a fucking whore at your desk. I don't mean to say that players have to buy these skins, but Fortnite is a free game at the end of the day. These skins are how they make their money, much like any other freemium service. Now back to the AI thing. Considering how that technology is going, it would be pretty bad if Epic decided to design skins with it. I don't mind AI on a technical scale to help workloads and things of that nature, but anything that's completely generative and are completely derived of any human input shouldn't be anywhere near the developing process. I don't think Epic would do this, but fear continues to loom over as I see that wooded figure and his ballerina friend. Both of them get used a lot for UEFN islands. Speaking of those islands, why isn't Epic pick a fucking Roblox clone? Epic thought it would be a cool idea to give UEFN developers the ability to integrate microtransactions in their islands. This, unsurprisingly, led to a gambling problem where some creators would make wheels you could spin for a small fee and it would guarantee certain boosts. This was patched in a week, but it wouldn't stop creators from trying to nickel and dime players where they could. From what I was able to gather, the microtransactions now seem to give unique weapons they're asset bought or made by the developers themselves. That or a certain boost. Anything to give the player an edge against others. We are never beating the Roblox allegations, man! But Chris Hansen's gonna have a fucking field day! Personally, if there's an island I play and I notice any microtransactions, I'm gone. I'm gone and I'm downvoting the island for even thinking it was okay. I can't find any justifiable reason to have these other than giving UEFN developers another way to get their pockets filled. Feels like a tip jar, maybe some sort of admin mode I'd only need to buy once, and I can kinda let those slide, but anything that just exists as a small consumable for a monetary fee is asinine. I perfectly understand that development costs money and people could feel like they deserve to be paid for what they made, but these maps are shameless and aren't designed with a heart, but with a vacuum aimed at your wallet. As I said, Roblox already does this, and we don't need any other games repeating this. Oh hey, I know, let's get rid of official games players actually enjoy, but all those slot maps that are blatantly copying each other able to stay, keeping anything actually original and enjoyable next to impossible to find. Yeah, that's really fucking cool, Epic. Let's fire another 1,000 people and then make 4 official modes that'll last 2 weeks. Don't forget to add ranked rewards on them either. I want to veer off Fortnite for a brief second to talk about another game series that was unfortunately shut down because of Epic's greed. The Unreal series acted as a game sold under the guise of showing off everything the Unreal Engine was capable of, hence its title. For the sake of this video, I went through and played Unreal Gold, UT 1999, and 2004. Originally, I only played Unreal Tournament 3 Black Edition and a little bit of 4. 4 is a special case because it never officially released. It remained as a beta from the beginning of its life to its unfortunate shutdown. When Fortnite made its rounds, this series of games would remain as supported by Epic until around January of 2023. It wouldn't be until a dedicated group of fan developers would gain Epic's blessing and revive the game's master server for the first 3 aforementioned games once more around 2024. Unreal Tournament 3 and 4 also have fan projects, but I'm not sure about where they are in Epic's eyes, so I'd rather not shout them out. Just know that they are available if you're interested. So Epic can't be bothered to keep these servers up, had another game called Paragon's Assets to rot in their asset store, and the only remnants players have to look back are the arcade machines that for some reason calls it Epic Classics? Along with Jazz Jackrabbit for whatever reason. We didn't even get a skin with this guy. Like, what's he doing here? It just feels weird that Epic doesn't embrace their past. You can't buy the Unreal series on Steam anymore, and Epic's dogshit launcher doesn't offer them. It only leads to the links that were originally made for the game when they were out, and those websites don't work anymore. It's more confusing when you consider Epic finally acknowledging the series with a secret level episode on Amazon that came out on December 2024. The episode itself is amazing, and it shows that the Unreal spirit is still there, even creating a web page after its release showing off where you can get the fan patches for Unreal Gold, 99, and 04. It also shows off its other games in the series that aren't readily available, but if you know how to Google around, shouldn't be too hard to get your hands on. My point is, what resources were needed to focus on Fortnite to shut down the master server for Unreal? The game itself is simple and can probably run on a bath-soaked toaster. So cutting online support for it off, just making it hard to acquire, seems completely asinine. This goes for any game that feels the need to shut down and not support the games they develop. Hashtag stop killing games. All I want is for Epic to put these games back so the OG players that do enjoy it can without so many hurdles. Even if Fortnite now is Epic's showcase of what their technology is, that doesn't mean take away what laid the groundwork to get them there. Fortnite is in a weird place. While I'm happy that Save the World is finally free and new players can enjoy it, I can't help but see that everything under the hood behind the company ruining it, inside the game and out. I'm sure this game won't go anytime soon, but it feels like the second Epic clings on to an astronomical opportunity to put itself in the forefront of the industry, it will drop whatever it's doing to catch it. This tactic helped get Fortnite off the ground, but at the cost of various other projects Epic was known for. Let's not forget Epic acquired Psyonix and put Rocket League under the Fortnite branding. But when will they decide to randomly pull the plug on them? I want you to think of yourself and think, what's Epic known for? Is it just Unreal Engine and Fortnite? Hell, I remember when they were known for Gears of War. I love Gears of War 3. Lord knows they ain't known for Battle Breakers. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear y'all's opinions in the comments. Closing out, I want to say that Fortnite is still one of my favorite games ever. It's one of the games that helped me transition from controller to keyboard. I still use an MMO mouse to this day to try and compensate because it still feels weird to me. But I feel like Fortnite has a good thing going on. There isn't really a bunch of other games that has this build mechanic while fighting, and I really like it. There's a lot of potential for it, but it's just if we're able to actually embrace that. The Elite's box fighting mode is a good example of this. I feel like it gets some players in the forefront of what's important in a build fight, but I also feel like they can do something a little better. I want to thank Sergeant Major Mario again for helping out with this script. Definitely check out his channel, and he has some books available on Amazon if you're interested in that. There's a brownie recipe in the description. And thanks for taking the time to click on and watch.